Okay, welcome to another episode of the Base-12 Book Club, where I'm promoting my recent book, Understanding Base-12 Math, How to Draw the Perfect Circle Using Dozenal Geometry. So this book is for sale on Amazon. You can buy it now. And what we're going to do in this video actually is read a little bit from another book that I've been reading a couple times now called The Trouble with Physics. This is a book by Lee Smolin, who is a physicist. It was written in 2007. And we're going to read something that I feel is relevant to the geometry that I have discovered and am presenting in my book. So my book, basically the crux of it is that I've discovered a geometric pattern that can divide the circle into 360 degrees, and then we can grow that pattern to a circle that's the size of the universe, or really big, and basically plot over a Google points on its circumference. So that's a lot of points. And the units, the points kind of look like they can be viewed like this, where these sit right on that circumference. Is just a long row of them, again, over a Google. Or we can look at this, where we have these little black circles are the units of diameter, because the pattern that we draw, the circle that we create, is literally created by dividing the diameter of the dodecagon or dodecagon pattern into its perimeter, which becomes the circumference of the circle. So that's what I show you how to do in the book, and I give you lots of diagrams and drawings. It's a fairly straightforward process, and that's what you get when you buy the book. I explain the difference between base 10 and base 12, that you need to stay in base 12 to do the calculations, and that you can then therefore create this diagram on the base 12 Cartesian plane. So because we're doing the process of dividing the diameter into the circle, we get a version of pi if we say that that is where pi originates. And that number, or we can do that calculation, we get a number, and it's different from the pi that we're familiar with. So some people have said, well, that's an interesting number, but it's not pi because we already know what pi is. And if it doesn't have those same characteristics, then it's not pi. So I put forth the idea that if we'd started in base 12 and we went through all this geometry and we did that calculation and we got that number, would we still think, would we still think, oh, that can't be the geometry of the circle, it must be something else, it's wrong? Or would we say, wow, this is the geometry of circles, and let's explore it some more? And so we would explore this geometric pattern and see where it led us. So I'm going to read something from Lee Smolin's book here. He's talking about the 5 great problems in theoretical physics. Problem 1, combine general relativity and quantum theory into a single theory that can claim to be the complete theory of nature. This is called the problem of quantum gravity. Besides the argument based on the unity of nature, there are problems specific to each theory that call for unification with the other. So we're trying to combine these two separate theories in physics, which are still currently, it's the same, none of these problems have been solved yet. Each has a problem of infinities. In nature, we have yet to encounter anything measurable that has an infinite value. But in both quantum theory and general relativity, we encounter predictions of physically sensible quantities becoming infinite. Okay, so he goes on to describe the problem in general relativity. He talks about that for a little while, and then he talks about quantum theory. So I'm going to focus on quantum theory, and this is what he says. Quantum theory, in turn, has its own trouble with infinities. They appear whenever you attempt to use quantum mechanics to describe fields, like the electromagnetic field. The problem is that the electric and magnetic fields have values at every point in space. This means that there is an infinite number of variables. Even in a finite volume, there are infinite numbers of points, hence an infinite number of variables. In quantum theory, there are uncontrollable fluctuations in the values of every quantum variable. An infinite number of variables fluctuating uncontrollably can lead to equations that get out of hand and predict infinite numbers when you ask questions about the probability of some event happening or the strength of some force. So this is another case where we can't help but feel that an essential part of physics has been left out. There has long been the hope that when gravity is taken into account, the fluctuations will be tamed and all will be will be finite. If infinities are signs of missing unification, a unified theory will have none. It will be what we call a finite theory, a theory that answers every question in terms of sensible finite numbers. All right, so what I get from that is that when you get into the really small with the math we currently have, because there's no space in there, everything is like I guess it's continuous, and there's infinite points. Wherever you go farther down, whatever, there's just like, it's all points, and everything's moving, and there's no space in there for things to sort of spread out, and it's just a lot of infinity. So that's why this is so good. When you get really small, you got some space here. There's an environment that there's things happening. These, I think, are what are generating the fields. So we're actually talking about one more layer beneath the fields that's actually generating them and creating these fluctuations in movement that build up to what we know is our own world. So that's where the irrational numbers with their long infinite numbers, and especially pi, we're going to keep talking about pi, where the numbers and the definition and the overall model is flawed. Let's just say that it is. And I'm not even sure where strings fit in there either. And I think we're just going to leave that. And I really believe that this model with this is I know it's a piece of cardboard with the circles drawn on it and everything, but as a model for some kind of spinning toroid shape with mass, I've gone over this in other videos. For now, I just wanted to say, I think that the math that I'm introducing, Base-12, is the one upon which, I think this Base-12 geometry offers a structure, a geometric structure upon which all this, in one sense I want to say it rests, but on the other hand, I think the math emerges from the structure that already exists. I really want to try to switch the narrative where we're creating a math and applying it to the physical universe, and just actually saying the physical universe already has the math built in, and it's just emerging from it. And this is what we get. We get this number for pi with all its digits, and it's got patterns in there, and there's a structure, and there's something we can really work with and explore, and we don't have to just sort of make up something out of our heads and hopefully that it fits. And it's like we're getting jigsaw puzzle pieces with this math, with this geometry, and then we can start fitting them together with all the information and knowledge and what we've already accumulated with everything we've done so far. So that's basically it. I want to just wanted to put that out there, that's how I see this relating to physics more than math. And I really feel like it's physicists that I need to approach, or that we need to approach, about this geometric pattern and using Base-12 math. I feel that mathematicians, it's just too much to sort of confront them with the idea that perhaps pi is wrong. Pi has become such a fundamental, sort of colossally solid block of mathematical lore almost in base 10 that it's just overwhelming for any of them to consider that it might be wrong, or there might be another way to come at it. It's just such a, I don't know. It's just, and that's not to say that I'm just saying math in general, mathematicians in general. I know there's a lot of them out there that are open to new ideas, but I don't, I'm doing my best to reach these people, but it's a big task. And I think that ultimately for them, it doesn't matter. No mathematician is thinking really that pi is wrong. It's just trying to, I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I think the physicists are more open to exploring a new idea. And so that's going to sort of shift my target to physicists. And so if you want to help, if I put that out there to my audience, who do you think is a good physicist to approach with this kind of question or this information, or how can I get someone to take this seriously? Who do you think would be a good person? I'm already doing my best to reach out to these people, and I'm looking for help and encouragement, or just whatever. So if you have any comments about that or any questions about what I've said in this video, I'm open, of course. I want to hear what you have to say. What do you think? Do you think that sounds like something that's feasible, that this geometry actually has a relationship to physics? So that's about it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.